Okay, I think we're live. Can someone let me know if we are actually live on the message, on the chat? Good to go? Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, we're on. Thank you, Alice. Good morning, yogis, All That Matters members, and the like. Namaste. It's so good to see you this morning. Welcome to my yoga room. I live in the house that my parents bought in 1974 as their summer home, and this was my childhood bedroom. So it kind of has a lot of emotional connection for me. We sleep in this was the smallest bedroom in the house, and I was the last one, so I got the smallest one. Anyway, for today's practice, before we get into that, I wanted to just thank you all for supporting All That Matters during this difficult time. I feel like I need to just adjust the camera a little bit. Hold on. That's too much. Yeah, that's just right. Okay, good. But I wanted to thank you all for supporting All That Matters during this difficult time. I know we're all kind of really struggling through this time, and it's a really different space that we're in. I had to do the big supermarket, go out and buy a ton of food yesterday at Belmont, and it was so surreal being in there. First off, there's not a lot of people because they're limiting the amount of people that can come in, but everybody's got gloves and masks on, and it's just a really crazy world. And I feel like as yogis, people who practice yoga, this is what we've been practicing for, right? It's really easy to do yoga and meditation when life is easy. But when it's difficult, that's when it becomes a real struggle. So today's practice is a typical 50+ yoga class. It's going to be on the gentler side. We're going to work the joints a little bit, move the joints around. You don't have to be 50+ to do it. It's open to anyone. Usually my 50+ class is a little bit more challenging than stretch and breathe because we do some standing poses and some balance poses too. But I pretty much always start off with the hip opening series, which is the leg stretches with the strap. So have some sort of a strap to start your practice today. Also, if you don't have a strap at your house, a yoga strap, no big deal. Grab a scarf, grab, one of your husband's or somebody's tie. You could use anything, a belt would be fine as well. So get one of those, and then I want everybody to get a blanket. I put this in the notes. I hope you saw that. If you didn't see the notes, if you don't have a blanket available, it's totally fine. If you have a bolster or a block and you wanted to put that underneath your back for our opening series, that would be fine too. All right, so I'll give everybody just a minute to grab a blanket or something. And like I said, we're just going to lay down and open up the heart space a little bit for the beginning of practice. All right, so here's what we're going to do with the blanket. So here's my blanket, right? It opens up like this. So here it is folded in half. And then I'd like you to fold it a quarter of the way, right? And then from here, put it down on the ground and make yourself a little bolster. So you could fold it up 3 times or you could fold it up 4 times, okay? So that's what it's gonna look like. And then from here, see how I have fringe on my blanket? You may not have fringe on your blanket at home, and that's fine. But I'm gonna put the fringe end up towards my head, right? And then from here, and this is important, and if this feels uncomfortable for you for whatever reason, just skip the blanket altogether. You can still do our breath work without having this. Okay, so from here, we're gonna sit down, and I want you to take the blanket and put it right where your sacrum is, right here. So you're not necessarily sitting on it. And then we're gonna lay on the blanket like this. So it's opening our heart space. And see the top of the blanket where the fringe is, you can tuck the fringe under and create like a little bit of a cushion for your head. For me right now, this feels really nice. I tend to hold a lot of stress in my shoulders and upper back rather than my low back, and I know everybody's different. This bothers your low back, don't do it, all right? Another option from here, walking your feet out to the edges of your yoga mat and dropping your knees together. Or you could just extend your legs down along the floor. All right, so you're here. There's this option too, if you wanted to come into what we call Baddha Konasana or butterfly pose. And if you do have blocks, you don't have to have them. But if you like this shape, you could stay in it or even rest the blocks underneath your knees or your thighs. Let the arms come down by your side and softly close your eyes. All right, so once you settle into the shape, just take a moment to arrive. I'm going to sit up to talk you through this, but I want you to stay where you are, okay, just in case your eyes are still open. Stay on your back. As you close your eyes, notice what you might be bringing to your yoga mat this morning. I know we're all, no matter how well you're dealing with this situation, I think we all know that life is a little different right now, a little weird. All right, so as you come into the shape, notice the opening in your heart space. Because I think for right now, having this idea of heart open, kindness, consideration for others, being helpful is such a big deal. But also when we're in the shape like this, laying over a bolster or blanket or block, it helps to open up our lungs. And we're dealing with a respiratory illness here, so the more breath work you can do, the better, right? And it also just helps us to receive the breath a little bit more deeply. Plus it feels nice. I think it feels nice anyway. And like I said, if you don't feel like it feels nice, take it out. With your eyes closed, begin to take your attention to your breath. Feel yourself breathing in and feel yourself breathing out. See if you can shift the breath to in and out through the nose. If that's not working for you today, use your mouth. As you inhale, feel belly, rib cage, heart. And then on the exhale, heart, rib cage, belly. Inhale, belly, rib cage, heart. Exhale, heart, rib cage, belly. And let's go for a few rounds like this. Close your eyes and just really settle into paying attention to your breath. And when all those thoughts and distractions start to come in, and they will, it's normal, we're humans, keep coming back to that breath work. Even if you wanted to count, inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, or maybe it's even a longer or shorter count than that. All right, so let's get right into our breath for a few moments. Use this time to become aware of your physical body, places that might need a little extra attention, a little extra love today. We've called this part of our practice pranayama, right? Also centering, beginning of practice. Pranayama means our breath work. If you are really struggling through this time, continue to access the breath, this might be all you can do for your yoga practice right now. I know that sometimes, especially at home, it can be super challenging to commit to an hour and 15 minutes of practice. But if you do, and these videos are all going to be saved for you guys, so you can do them any time of day. If you do, you will find, no matter what your situation is, it will be a little bit easier. One more inhale and exhale here. And then let's begin to flutter the eyes open and notice what you're looking at the ceiling, right? You may even choose a drishti or gazing point. Sorry, I keep looking at my phone. I'm communicating with Jessie, who's running these videos for us, and I just want to make sure everything's okay. As you flutter your eyes open, you might find a spot on the ceiling that will become your drishti, a place to rest your gaze. All right, now from here, with this laying down position on your back, let's just roll over to the side. Take the blanket out from underneath you, put it to the side, and land back down on your back with your feet up towards the ceiling. And pause and notice, feet on the floor, knees up towards the ceiling. And notice for a moment what it feels like to come off of the blanket, right? Getting into more of the natural curves of your spine. Close your eyes again, feel your breath. And from here, we're going to start to get into a bit of movement. Let's bring the knees in towards the chest. And rock a little bit from side to side, massaging your low back. It's a good time to wake up the feet a little bit. You might roll your ankles around or fan your toes out. And then take one hand on each knee. And let's open our knees wide and start to circle the knees in opposite directions. Right? Inhale and exhale. So movement and breath coming together here. Inhale and exhale. Let's reverse these circles. And this one might be a little wonky for you. We're going to go in figure eights, right? So take the knees in, woohoo, figure eights, the infinity symbol. And then take those in the other direction too. If your mind doesn't go that way, just do the circles, that's fine. Good, knees together, arms down by your sides for support. They're right down here on the floor. They're in about like an A position or airplane wings. Drop the knees over to the right. You can bring your right hand to the top of the left thigh if that's comfortable, and then extend your left arm out as far as you can. You could look over your left shoulder, right? Or stay right here in the center. If it's too much for your left arm to open up there, just leave it on the side of your body. Right? If the shoulder feels like it's, hanging out in space and it doesn't feel good, right? And then gaze up towards the ceiling. Look for an inhale and an exhale. And then on your next inhale, rise those knees through center and switch. Head right over to the other side. Right? So the left hand comes to the outside of the right knee or thigh. Right hand extends. And if your shoulder is way up in the air like this, once again, you can bring it down by your side. You could even take your blanket and prop your shoulder with it. And keep breathing. Look up towards the ceiling. On an inhale, rise the knees back up. Let's place both feet on the floor, knees up. We're going to come into some rolling bridges. If bridge is not in your practice today because your low back's really tender, you could just do a pelvic tilt here too, right? So you're just doing inhale, exhale, pelvic tilts. If you feel okay rising up into bridge, take an in breath as you press into the feet and start to lift those hips up off of the mat, right? Keep the gaze towards the ceiling. Try not to look at me. Once you know what we're doing, this could be tricky on the neck. And then slowly place the spine down on the mat. There's one more addition if you wanted to use it here. Arms can float up. Big breath in. And on the exhale, slowly lower down. Let's go for a couple more rounds like this. Inhale. And exhale. This next time we come up, and this is just an option, everything we do today is always just an option, so I don't feel like you have to do any of this stuff. But if you're an All That Matters member, you probably know that already. As you come up, if you wanted to come onto the balls of the feet, just to kind of wake up the feet a little bit here, and then slowly place the spine down one vertebra at a time. There might be a strong sensation. I want to pull the knees into the chest here, and that's fine. Go for it. We're going to go into the hip opening series. So this is where you're going to need your strap. Okay, place your feet down on the floor. And I usually like to start this one with supine pigeon pose. So we'll come into this shape first. The right ankle crosses over the left knee or thigh, right? So we're in this shape. This is what it looks like. All right, can you see that? Sort of like you're crossing your legs if you were sitting in a chair. From here, you can stay right in this shape, pressing the right knee forward a little bit, or if you want, the left hand comes, both hands, come behind the left leg, and you're gonna pull the leg into the body. Now, if you're really straining, like your head's up off the floor and you're really straining through your shoulders to get here, you could take the strap and bring it behind the left leg and pull the left leg in. Good, and then as we come into the shape, let's rock a bit from side to side and breathe. At any point in your practice, if it feels good to close your eyes. Right, this time, I find it can be kind of a struggle to really center. So much swirling around. Yesterday, I took a social media break because I've been online a lot with yoga and stuff, and it was really refreshing. So I think it's good to do that every once in a while, too. Then let's place the left foot down on the floor, bring the right foot up towards the ceiling. Bring the strap around the sole of your right foot, preferably where the heel and the arch meets, but if you're more comfortable in a different place, that's fine. Now let's begin to gently tug the leg towards us. So right leg, same leg we just did the hip stretch with. Right, pull the leg towards you until you feel a fair amount of sensation, but not pain. You could stay right here with your left foot on the floor or extend your left leg down along the floor here. Let the shoulder, if you're straining through your shoulders here, let your hands come down the strap a little bit. Relax. Feel your breath. Good. And then both hands take this, both ends of the strap come into the left hand. Your right hand can come down to the floor. This one's going to hopefully access the outer edge of our hip. Take a deep breath in, and we're going to pull the leg across the midline of the body, but then diagonal, like it's heading over your left shoulder. All right, breathe here. And then come back to center. Take the strap into your right hand, bring the left knee in close to the body, breathe in, and on your exhale, open both legs wide. So this left leg is going to help to keep you anchored in this pose. Press out through the ball of the right foot and breathe here. The heel of the right foot. And let's inhale and rise back up. Left leg comes down. Release your strap. Slowly lower this left leg down, sorry, right leg down to the floor. And let's take a pause, just a little mini relaxation pose, a little mini shavasana here. Notice the difference on your two sides. Feel your breath. I have one addition that I like to add in my 50 plus class, especially to the hip opening series, because a lot of us have a hard time being on our knees for any amount of time. So stretching out the front of the hip can be really nice here. As you turn over to your left side, reach your right hand towards your right foot. This left leg can just do whatever would feel really comfortable here just to make you stable. And then pull your heel towards your butt. So if that's hard for you to reach for, you can take your belt or your strap or whatever you're using here and create a little bit more space for the arm. Right, pull the leg towards you. This is also a good stretch for the knee. Keep breathing. And release. We'll come onto our backs. And we're going to head right over to the other side. So lift those hips up just one time and then place them down. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. All right, so it could be a whole different ball game here. Right? If it feels like you want to stay in this shape on this side, that's fine. And then let's go ahead and bring the right leg up. Remember, you can bring your hands or your strap behind the right leg. Find your shape and pause. Look for your breath. You might rock a bit from side to side. Good, and then lower the right foot down. Left foot comes up towards the sky. Grab the strap and bring it around the sole of the left foot. Comfortably reaching for the strap so you're not straining through your shoulders. I have a little bend in my elbow here. When you're ready, gently begin to tug the leg towards you. Inhale and exhale. Once you find a spot where you've got pretty good sensation but not pain, if you want to intensify it, the right leg extends down along the floor. Let's take, say, 5 or so more breaths right here in this shape. And then release the tension on the strap. The right hand takes the strap as the left hand comes down to the earth. Breath in, and on your exhale, let's come across the midline of the body and then diagonal. And breathe. Back to center. Left hand takes both ends of the strap. We're going to pull the right knee in close to the body. Take an in breath, and on your exhale, open the legs wide. All right, I'm going to turn this way because I'm hitting the wall. Try to stay in the center with this shape. I don't even know if you can see me from here. Okay, and then let's come back up, right, and take the strap off of the left leg as your right foot comes down to the floor, and slowly lower your leg down until you land. Good. Let both legs come down along your mat. Take a little mini shavasana. Good, and then so as hip flex or stretch from here. Roll to your side, reach the left hand or loop the strap around your foot and stretch out your thigh. This will also get into the knee. It's good to move the knee a little bit here. You can even bring your knee forward and back and just feel that really nice stretch here through the front of the hip. That's my dog barking at the mailman. What are you gonna do? Cody, why stop? All right, let's come over onto our backs. Roll over to your right side. Hi. And let's come on up. So we're going to come to hands and knees from here, guys. If you need to cushion your knees, please go ahead and take that blanket that we used earlier in class and bring it underneath your knees. I usually need to cushion my knees, so you might want to bring that in. All right, and then from here, hands down on the mat, knees right underneath your hips. If you wanted to come onto your fists here, if your hands or wrists bother you, that's fine. Otherwise, hands are down, and you can take the tail and the crown of the head up. And on your exhale, round the spine. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and round. Go for a few more breaths like this. Good. Next time that your tailbone sticks up, let's walk the arms forward for a puppy stretch. Drop the chest and ribcage down towards the mat. Heart opening again here. Really great for immunity. Stay in this pose. I'm going to come up and just talk about it a little bit. This posture is really good for your immune system. Lymphatic, we got a lot of lymph nodes in here, and that's one of our primary immunity boosting, fighting. Our lymph system is really good for that. I had some trouble talking today. It opens your lungs, and you're going upside down. So puppy pose is a really great posture for immunity. Awesome. So from puppy pose, option to come to downward facing dog, right? So downward facing dog, we would walk the hands back a little bit, fan your fingers out nice and wide, bring the hips up. I know for a 50 plus class, not everybody can do that. Their hands don't feel great, their wrist doesn't feel great. So if that's the case for you, instead of doing that, let's just transition to standing. Okay, so you can get your feet underneath you and slowly rise up to standing. Great. I'm going to take my blanket and move it to the side. We might need it a little bit later in practice, but not right now. All right. Hey. One more little shape that I wanted to show you too is just this, right? So we talked, this is very similar to what we were doing in our puppy stretch, but it's really good for building positive energy. So if you start to feel depressed, I know it's hard for a lot of us to stay home. Some of us are like, yay, I'm nesting and I got some time off. And others of us are like, I'm so lonely. This is depressing. I need to go out and do fun stuff. This could be helpful for your mood, honestly. It's good for depression to reach your arms overhead. Good, so let's bring the arms down. And we're gonna do a sequence of movements. I like to call this one rolling the joints, not the good kind. So we're gonna, I like to do this with my feet together to start, but you might be more like hip distance, and that's fine, whatever feels most comfortable for you. First thing we're gonna do is take our knees and start to roll them around. And as we do this, pick those toes up off of the floor. Feel the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot, the arches, all four corners, just kind of waking up our feet and our ankles as well. And then reverse those circles a little bit. Awesome. Come on up to standing. Bring your hands to your hips. We're going to step the feet a little wider than hip distance. And then from here, we're going to circle our hips around. So forward and back. And this is great for getting the synovial fluid in your joints moving, right? And that helps to keep our joints from being cranky. If you want to go big with these, right, You can fold forward and then come back into a back bend, but just be mindful of how you're moving. If it feels like it's too much, don't go that far. And then, of course, we're going to reverse our circles. Move with your breath if you can. Keep it conscious. Good, and then we're going to come to the shoulders, all right? I want you to take your arms up and back. Inhale and exhale. Next time we come up, circle your wrists a couple of times and then come back. Inhale, circle, circle, and come back. One more time. Inhale, circle, circle, and come back. Let's come in the other direction. Hands come forward. Keep your knees nice and loose here. And then one more time. Back. Open that heart space. Awesome. Let the hands come down by your sides. Take a nice deep breath in here. Lift the pelvic floor slightly so you're nice and tall through your spine. Right, as you lengthen up through the crown of the head, let the shoulders fall away. You can even do a couple of bounces here with your shoulders. On an exhale, please drop your chin towards your chest. Inhale, roll the head over to one side. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, over to the other side. And exhale, back to center. So keep moving with your breath. On your inhale, ear towards shoulder. Exhale, back to center. Inhale and exhale. Good. Next time that your right ear lands towards your right shoulder, right, pause here and really press out through the butt of the left palm. Couple breaths. Good, and then roll the head back through center and over to the other side as we pause. Right, pressing out through the butt of that right palm, left ear towards left shoulder. You might even move your jaw here. I forgot to say that on the other side. That can be a nice little tension spot there. Good, let's let the head float back towards the chest and then bring it to neutral. Bring your right arm underneath your left and let's bring our hands towards our shoulder blades, right? So we're almost giving ourselves a little hug. I know for those of us who are in the yoga community, and I know a lot of you are, it's really hard not to hug right now. So hug yourself. As you do this, round your spine a little bit. Let the shoulder blades come forward. And then come back up and lift those elbows, lift your heart, lift your chin towards the ceiling as much as you can that feels comfortable, right? And then come back, round. Inhale, back up. One more time, breath like this. And back up. Good, release those arms. And we're gonna come into a yoga mudra shape from here. So you can interlace your fingers behind the back. If that is challenging for you to do, grab your strap or your belt and bring your hands into this position. Pull the shoulder blades towards one another and then lift the heart up. You're coming into a bit of a back bend here. Reach your chin towards the sky. Open through the front of the neck. You might even take your bottom jaw over your top jaw. Good, and then release the pose. Let your strap come down to the floor. Let's take left under right for that hug again, right? So coming into this shape here. It's almost like eagle arms, but we're just giving ourselves a little hug. Inhale up. Exhale, round the upper back a little bit. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath in. And release. Good. This time, just let your arms come back. Open that heart space. See what it feels like. Right? Energetically, this is such a wonderful place to be in. When we get sick or sad or we're going through stuff like we're going through right now, we tend to kind of curl up like this, right? So work on opening. It will make your body feel better, but also your energy level be a little bit better. All right, cool. From here, bring your feet into more alignment with your hips. So if you were tracking your hips, your feet down on the floor, they go right out with those bony protrusions right out in the front of your hip bones, right? And then from here, bend your knees a little bit. Inhale, let the hands float to the top of the lungs. Exhale, bend your knees. Almost a little Utkatasana or chair pose. Inhale. And exhale. Good, next time we come up, we're gonna shift the weight to the left leg and reach our right knee up. Exhale and place it down. And then switch. Left knee comes up. It's okay to wobble. You can use a wall or have a chair available. Inhale up. Exhale, place it down. Let's go one more time like this. And then we're gonna try and come on up to hold, all right? And that might look like this. Maybe your big toe is just touching the floor. See if you can lift that knee up. Feel the idea of standing on one leg. What would it feel like to take this knee out to the side? And then bring it back to center and place it down. And let's switch, we'll head over to the other side. So knee comes up, pausing, a few breaths here. And then what does it feel like to bring it out to the side? You want to try and not turn your whole body because that's going to turn you out of the pose, right? Just over to the side with the leg and then place it down. And then let's try on tree pose, right? So it could look like this. Big toes on the floor, heels on your ankle. Arms up overhead. Here we are in that shape again. Or they can be out to help you balance, whatever feels best. If you want to try a little bit more, pressing the lower part of the leg into the foot. Breathe. Right, we tend to hold our balance, to hold our breath in our balancing poses. So see if you can access that breath again. Good, and then place the foot down. And let's head right over to the other side. You might find one side's easier than the other. All right, starting to feel your tree take shape over here. Big toe on the floor or full pose. Arms up. Breathe. All right, place the foot down. Let's open up our legs nice and wide here. We're going to work a couple of standing postures. First one will be warrior two. You know what? I'm going to mirror you on this one. So turn your, I can't, it's too confusing. I'm watching my own video. Turn your left foot out. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, turn your right foot slightly in. Reach the arms up overhead. Take a breath in here, and on your exhale, let's find warrior two pose. Good, make sure your knee's tracking right over the ankle here on the front leg. Back leg is strong and active too. Right, as we come into this shape, let's turn some doorknobs, right? So we're gonna turn the right hand this way, sorry, left hand this way, right hand in the other direction, and then switch. Just a little bit of movement for the wrists here. Maybe this will take your mind off of what's going on in your legs. All right, land in warrior two. And then come back to center. Hands to the heart. Turn your right foot out. Left foot slightly in. Arms up and exhale. For this one, press the wrists out. So you're almost pressing the walls away from you. Imagine you're like Indiana Jones in one of those movies, right? Press the walls out. Take a breath here. And then exhale, turn the fingers down, stretching the hands and the wrists in the opposite direction. Two more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. and exhale. Come back to center. If at any time you feel like you need to shake your legs out, feel free to go there. Otherwise, we're going to go right over to the other side. So left foot turns out, right foot is slightly in. And we're going to come into a triangle pose from here. So in triangle, our legs are pretty typically straight. You might have a little bit of a bend in the front knee, and maybe your feet need to come a little bit closer together. So bring your right hand down the back leg as the left arm reaches up, really opening up through your side body. And then on an exhale, reach forward. Let the hand land on the leg. It could be above the knee or below the knee. If you bring your hand way down and you start to stick your butt out, come back into alignment. Tuck this right hip under slightly. So you could stay right here, looking down at the floor. If stability is an issue or your low back bothers you and twists, stay here. If you wanted to come into full triangle pose, it would be here. Right? Shoulders are away from the ears. Heart's opening. You can gaze up towards the hand that's in the sky if you want more. Right? If you're not quite sure if you're using your core, try picking this bottom arm up and see what that feels like. One more breath. And then come on up. Turn the feet forward, hands to the heart. Take a breath or two. Right? These pauses in between shapes can be really lovely if you let them happen. And I know we're always rushing and going. This is a time for us to pause. Some sort of a cosmic pause that's happening here. I know there's a lot of stress around finances, money. Let me just do a little shout out to Gina Raimondo. I think she's been doing a very good job of keeping us on track. All right, let's go to the other side. So turn your right foot out, left foot slightly in. It's triangle, so right arm reaches up as we lengthen, 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 and then place the hand down on the leg. Above or below the knee is fine. Either staying here as you look forward or start to track the shoulders. Maybe floating this left arm up. Breath. Good, and then come back up through center, hands to the heart. Let's step the feet a little closer together. From here, interlace your fingers into steeple, so your pointer fingers pointing down and the thumbs cross. Reach both arms up overhead and wiggle out of your waist. So we're really going to take those arms up as high as we can. And you might notice that the shoulders are ending up around the ears here. Let's exhale and release the shoulders down so your head and neck is really relaxed. Take a nice deep breath in. And let's come on over to the left. Inhale at the center. And exhale over to the right. And inhale at the center. Release your fingers, wiggle the hands, wiggle your fingers, and slowly let the arms float down. Good, pause. Standing mountain pose. Receive your practice thus far. How does it feel today to be in your physical body? I always feel so much better when I get my practice in. So we're going to come into a standing forward fold from here. If you would like to turn, because we're going to step back and end up down on the mat in child's pose, that might be a good idea if you're facing the camera. So you want to have your mat lengthwise. You're facing the top of the mat. Let's inhale and rise both arms up. On our exhale, bend your knees a lot and come into your forward fold. All right, so from here, knees bent, hinge at the hips. You might even stay in a nice lengthened forward fold here. You can bring your hands onto your calves or wherever they reach to. If your body gives the okay to fold forward, you can go ahead and fold forward. And you might even widen your feet, right, to give the belly some space to breathe. You can grab the backs of the legs and sort of tug yourself forward. That's fine. So once again, if downward facing dog is not in your practice, please just come down to hands and knees and then land in child's pose. If you need to cushion your knees, grab that blanket. If you like a little downward facing dog, from here, fan the fingers out nice and wide, step your feet back, take a down dog. A few breaths here, and then eventually we'll land in a nice widening child's pose. Let the head touch something, right? It could be the floor if it comfortably comes there, or you can stack your fists like this, right? Or a blanket or your block underneath it. In your child's pose, your arms can be out in front of you or down by your sides, whatever feels most comfortable. And then sway the head a few times, side to side. Good, so these next couple of moves, you can stay in child's pose while I talk. These next couple of moves are going to be to strengthen our core, and we're going to come into a little bit of back bending too. The first pose we're going to do is a plank posture. I'm going to let you choose your plank today too. So for most of us in the 50 plus class, we like to be down on our forearms. But if you would prefer to be on your hands in a regular old plank, that's fine with me, okay? So if you want to join me in forearm plank, here's where we're going to go. We're going to take our, you see me here, take your elbows down to the mat and then touch. See how I'm touching my shoulders with my fingers? That will give you the alignment of where your elbows should be. All right, hands come down, your palms can come together. You can interlace your fingers here. But if your shoulders are out to the elbows are out to the side, you can tend to kind of collapse here through the shoulders. We're going to take just 5 breaths in plank pose. So one foot tucks under, then the other, and you want to find that central place. You could also do this with your knees down and your toes tucked under. You'll still get plenty of core work. Fire up the breath. Keep pressing into those forearms so you're not collapsing through your shoulders. All right, one more breath. And then lower all the way down to the earth. Stack your hands underneath your forehead. Pick your feet up off the mat. You might roll your ankles around or maybe even rock your feet a little from side to side. Uh-oh, I got a text from somebody. I think that's important. Okay. I just got a new puppy and they're saying they want everyone to see the puppy at the end. That's funny. All right, feet down to the floor. That was a very important text, ladies. Let's bring our arms down by our sides. Find your breath. From here, lift and lengthen one leg up and back, and then the other leg up and back. Place your forehead down on the mat. Well, yours is probably already there. And then you can stick with this, right? If your low back is tender, just do this. This is a great low back hamstring strengthener. If you want more, we're going to peel the legs up, chest, rib cage, head, and arms up off the floor. For Shalabhasana for 5 breaths. All right, keep lengthening and lifting. Good, and release. Let's turn the head to the Right. So your left ear is is on the floor. Okay? Bring your arms into goal pose position. Right, so your elbows and your shoulders are in line. And we're going to take the right knee out to the side for what we call half frog pose. Right, this is a restorative hip opening posture. And just pause in the shape and breathe. Keep your arms where they are. Turn the forehead back to the mat. Straighten your leg. Take a breath. And then we'll head over to the other side. So the left knee comes out, right ear towards the mat. Forehead down. Bring the hands under the shoulders. If you're craving a cobra pose like I am, you could come up into your cobra. Maybe it doesn't look like that. Otherwise, we're just going to head back to hands and knees and bring our legs out in front of us. Shake out your legs. I'm going to have a drink of water. We're going to do a seated twist from here. Okay, so please lift your right foot up and place it to the inside of your left leg. You could stay right in this shape, or if you want to sit up on your blanket to lift your hips up a little bit, if this feels like it's tight, go for it. If you want to cross your right leg over your left, this is a good spot to come into too. See if you can interlace your fingers and hold on to your right knee. Your left leg over just a couple of inches, and that will already start to feel like you're going into your twist. Awesome. From here, you can either wrap your arm around the leg or you can keep your left hand here. It's up to you. Let's take a nice deep breath in as your right hand comes right out in front of you. Gaze right over the middle finger. Take a big breath in, and on your exhale, bring your hands behind your back and place it down. Deep breath in as you lift and lengthen. And exhale, turn your gaze over your right shoulder. If it's too much on your neck, bring your head back to neutral. Let's take a few breaths here. Twisting is also really good for your immunity because we're wringing out all of our internal organs and releasing toxins. It's good stuff. All right, so we're going to come out of this really mindfully. Oftentimes, I do this myself in my own practice. When you hear we're going to start to come out of a pose, you just come out of it, right? So let's go slow, right? You might find that there's something really nice along the way. Inhale, bring the hand to the horizon. Gaze right over the middle finger. Exhale, unwind. Release the hand. Hands come behind your back. Bring your feet to the edges of your mat and just rock your knees from side to side. Good, and then let's head to the other side. So the right leg extends. Left foot can stay to the inside of the thigh, or if you wanted to cross it over, that's fine. Take the right heel and move it over just a couple of inches. Before we go anywhere, let's sit up nice and tall, shoulders away from the ears. Hold on to your left leg with your right hand, or you can even squeeze it into the inside of the elbow. Gaze over the middle finger on your left hand. Take a breath in. And on the exhale, slowly follow it with your gaze and then plant the hand down, almost like a kickstand for your spine as you lift and lengthen and twist. Some folks even take the elbow to the outside of the knee. That's a little too much of a twist for me, but if you feel like you want to go there, go for it. Good, so here we go. We're going to come out, but real mindfully, right? Inhale, left hand comes to the horizon. Exhale, slowly unwind. Good, hand comes down, both hands behind you, knees start to track side to side. If you had a yoga block and you wanted to use it for inversion, you can. I'm going to show you some inversions that you don't have to do with the yoga block. You could even have your blanket. Notice how I've folded mine up a little differently now. It's more of like a bolster. You could even, do like a 3-fold like this and use this underneath your hips just to get your hips a little bit higher than your heart. All right, so let's start to come down onto our backs as we float the knees from side to side. Come down onto your forearms. Get right into the sacral area and feel the side to side sway of the knees and the hips. And then maybe coming all the way down, feeling this twisting action. You can float your arms overhead if that was comfortable. Just kind of having some fun here. So a few different options for an inversion. Here you are, right? That's a great inversion. You can bring your arms up for a little while, maybe if you want to get the blood flowing in the opposite direction here through the arms and the legs. If you wanted a little height, right? Obviously you could use a yoga block, but if you don't have one at home, you can take your blanket, and this might feel really nice actually, it's nice and squishy, and bring the legs up here, right? If bringing your legs up in the air is not great, pause in this shape. You're still getting the blood flowing in the opposite direction. And then one of my all-time favorites, when I feel really stressed and sometimes I meditate like this, like it is a meditative pose, but legs up the wall is a really wonderful one too. And if you ever have a hard time getting into it, the best way is to bring one of your hips all the way over to the wall. And then you do this really glamorous thing like this. And then here you are, legs at the wall. And relax and breathe. So get the blood flowing in the opposite direction for a little while. I'm going to stay here for a few breaths, so you don't have to open your eyes. I'll cue you when we're going to come out. Just stay in the shape, whatever it looks like for you today. Good, and if you have legs up the wall today and you want to stay there for Shavasana, totally legal and a lovely place to stay. Just watch if your legs or your feet start to get really tingly, you might want to roll to your side and come out. If you are in legs up on your mat, you have a prop underneath you, bring the feet down, lift the hips up, bring the prop out from underneath you, and lower your body down to the mat. Now, for Shavasana, right, some really nice options. If you want to bring your blanket rolled up underneath, it's actually, I like to bring it like just above the knees, right? So here, you could have your blanket here and just lay down in this position. Or we did this pose earlier in class, right? Constructive rest, Kendall calls this one. I did her class all the time. She's my fave. All right, knees fall together, feet are out to the side. You could be in this shape, right? But please, wherever you are, close your eyes and relax. We'll be here for about 5 minutes. And if you want to stay longer, you may. Please try not to skip this part. It can be really important, especially during this time. Right? Your laundry can wait. Vacuuming can wait. Do this for yourself. Eyes are softly closed. Relax the muscles of your face, especially your jaw. Try to get the back teeth in your mouth to separate a little bit. Rest. Rest and integration. If the mind is really chatty, come back to your breath. Don't drink my coffee. Cody, go. And let's start to come out of Shavasana. Maybe there's a little wiggle of the fingers, a wiggle of the toes. Maybe your arms reach overhead or your knees come into the chest. Or maybe you want to stay a little longer. Feel free to stay a little longer. You might enjoy rolling over to your side and then using your hands for support. Find your way up to a seated position. I want to introduce you to my yoga buddies that I brought in just now. She's drinking my water. So cute. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. It was really wonderful. Luna, don't drink too much. I don't want her to pee in here. So I wanted to let you guys know this past weekend, and if you follow me on Facebook, you probably saw some of the photos and the videos and stuff. I fostered 3 puppies from Save One Soul Animal Rescue League. They had a little shop, a retail shop right next to the post office in Wakefield. but they're a rescue organization, and most of their dogs are in foster homes. And I've done work with them before, driving dogs from the transport truck and things like that, but I never fostered before because I have so many dogs in my life because I have a dog walking business and there's always a bunch of dogs at my house. So anyway, I fostered 3 puppies this weekend, and they were getting snagged up very fast. Rescues, this one's from Arkansas, and they call Luna, this is my new baby, a failed foster. For those of you who know me, you know it's going to be pretty hard for me to let go of a dog. But anyway, she's my new baby. This is Cody Boy, and he's loving her too. We're having a good time hanging out at the house, as I know a lot of you probably are too. Cody and I have been taking some awesome hikes. One that I found this week that I'm really loving, and maybe many of you have been there, in Arcadia. I can't take the little one yet, she's too little. But in Arcadia, there's a trail called Stepping Stone Falls. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I can't believe I've never been there before. But anyway, get out in nature, enjoy your pets, enjoy your kids, enjoy your family. Try and do the best that we can during this time for, staying at home and staying safe and staying healthy. Come here, Luna. She's so cute. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. Good job, you guys. Good job. Hey, stop drinking my water. Want to try and do a puppy stretch with me? Come on, let's do a puppy stretch. Come on, move over. Ready? Cody boy, come on, stretch, stretch. You know how to. Oh, good boy, good. They both did it. I love it. You're so cute. You're getting good at yoga, Luna. I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do now, but I'll see who's tuning in. Hey guys. Hi, Wendy. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Alice. Hi, Linda. Tara. I don't know if I can move this thing. Hi, Kelly. Deb G. I'm so interested in the yoga rooms in people's houses. That is kind of cool, isn't it? So I painted my yoga room purple. As you can see, I have a lot of purple on and everything today. The reason I did that is because I feel like that's the color that I mostly see when I'm in that space, So I love it. I think it's fun. People, I think, come in here and go, well, that's a lot of color in there, but I've always liked color. So yeah, this is my yoga space. I had to move the furniture around a little bit to make it look better for TV. Is that what we're calling this? Anyway, I miss you guys so much. And I hope that soon we'll be back together at the studio, because it is so nice to be at All That Matters and be in community and with friends. I've been saying to folks, the Swami Kripala always says, the best way to have a spiritual practice is to connect with like-minded people. Right now it's on the internet. So thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful day. And I guess I'm signing out. See ya.